You, Khalil, if I may, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Martin, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here with you for the opening session of this event. And let me start by thanking the OASC, so our Open and Agile Smart Cities and Communities, for organizing this event and in these difficult circumstances, and not breaking the tradition of having this annual event on smart cities and communities that we see very important for us. The digital transformation and the green transition are key priorities for the Commission, with one target: making sure that we have a successful digital transformation and green transition of our economy and society, with benefits that are shared by all our citizens and all our businesses, and that this transition is done in line with our values, preserving our values, and also serving our economic interests and helping us addressing all our societal challenges. It's a transformation that we would like to make successful together with our partners around the world. And we look really at the global digital transformation. So we see that for the digital transformation, the role of cities and communities is essential. It is at the core of the digital transformation. This is where the ultimate services are delivered to our citizens, and also where the business development is happening. Therefore, we maintain a close link with cities, regions, with communities, to see how they see the transformation and what we could do in our policy actions to make sure that it fits what is needed, and hence the also close cooperation that we have with the OASC. We're from the EU side, we tackle the digital transformation of cities and communities from different angles, with one goal: helping cities authorities, helping the authorities responsible for communities and cities, and ensuring the successful digital transformation, successful and comprehensive digital transformation. It is not, this digital transformation is not something that we have to cope with. We see it as a major opportunity really to shape up our economies and our societies in particular, to be more resilient in the future, to bring in, to address our challenges from environmental to health to energy, etc., but also as opportunities for new developments, for creative industries to develop, for innovative industries to develop in the future. And hence, this work with the authorities. We tackle this transformation with actions that form a coherent strategy, and that goes from infrastructure, by supporting connectivity, and we have foreseen for that in the Connecting Europe facility, the next framework program, dedicated investments to be done in reinforcing the connectivity of in cities and communities, with investment goes into broadband and into 5G, to raise this level of connectivity infrastructure. It's important, but in addition to that, the infrastructure is not only about connectivity anymore. The infrastructure is also about the data and compute infrastructure. And we have, under the Digital Europe program in particular, dedicated an important amount of money to build up or reinforce the urban data platforms, what we call the common data spaces for cities across the EU. We will devote an important budget on the Digital Europe program for this. This is the program that will be kicking this year, so as you know. And we have also foreseen investments in using this data and in piloting and testing new services based on data, notably using artificial intelligence and other new technologies to make sure that we make the best use of the data and connectivity infrastructure, And we will support also the buildup of compute infrastructure with cities to make sure that we have all the infrastructure needed, data, common data spaces. This is where the urban data platforms could be developed, supported, but also testing, piloting with this, and triggering the deployment. We will support from the Digital Europe program the triggering of deployment of new services in cities and with smart communities. This is an investment that will start this year and will continue with us until 2027 under the Digital Europe program. The same thing for the investment that we do in the connectivity infrastructure and CEF. But we'll not stop there. We will also support the development tools to improve planning and I would say science-based and fact-based planning in cities and urban plannings. We will be investing in the development of digital twins for cities, in particular through the Digital Europe program, but also through Horizon Europe, with investments in simulation modeling, predictive tools for urban planning and a better understanding of our urban environment as part of our big initiative on what we call Destination Earth, which is about the digital twin of all our planet that we are working on with various stakeholders. Contribution to planning, to better understanding of our urban environment and how it's developing. We will also support the future development of smart cities under the mission that we have for smart and climate neutral and carbon neutral cities and communities. This is the investment in research, development, innovation that partly will help us develop the digital twins, but also do research and development all aspects that are about the sustainability of our citizens and about smartness and new services in cities. So research and innovation as well in this area. We will also, we have also prioritized these investments and all the types of services in cities as part of the Resilience and Recovery Fund, which gives us a huge opportunity really in terms of investments. And this is a call for all our cities in the EU to make sure that we use this recovery fund. 20% of that fund, which is around 135 billion euros, will have to be committed and invested in digital in the next 2 years. This is a huge opportunity to upgrade our infrastructure, bring in new services to our cities, build up and connect our communities. And really, RRF is a huge opportunity. What we will do in our programs, what I mentioned in the Connecting Europe facility, what we'll do in Digital Europe program, what we'll do in Horizon Europe will cover this collective work that we need to do together. And the RRF will help us, the Resilient Recovery Fund will help us reinforce the investment at national level. We're looking at the close articulation between what we will do in the common data spaces and the predictive analytics and the testing and experimentation through our programs, and the investments that will be done under the Resilience and Recovery Fund. Gives us a huge, huge opportunity of investments in this area. This complements what we're doing on the regulatory side, mainly on the data side, where we have already announced the framework that will enable us to share data between public institutions, to reuse data, so important in cities. So work on investments, we go on our regulatory framework to ensure the proper digital transformation. I mentioned data. We will be proposing a regulatory framework on AI. We have proposed a regulatory framework on the services and online services, the Digital Service Act, that complement our investments. These are horizontal, touch everything, but they have impact also on our cities and communities. That's the way we approach that, and we hope that we will continue this work together with cities to make sure that what we are doing is in line with what you think is important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Khalil. You hear only one set of hands, but you can maybe imagine 2,000 sets. Thank you also for laying out this very ambitious investment on the European side, and just to make the obvious explicit, the minimal interoperability mechanisms.
It's of course work that we do with the member states, and we really welcome the work done by the Portuguese presidency. And we hope that with the Slovenian presidency, we will continue this work, of course. Thank you.
I'm seeing that happening already, and just to say that the minimal interoperability mechanisms are exactly being packaged on the European level within the livingin.eu initiative, where it's becoming available as the MIMS Plus for all
Absolutely.
cities and communities and companies in Europe.
And we do not forget small communities. These are not actions for the big cities only. As you know, we're touching also all types of small communities. And this afternoon at 4 p.m., there'll be the launch of 2 projects really targeting smaller size communities. And I'll stop there. Sorry. Thanks.
Very good. So yeah, that's the rural and the de-rural.
Absolutely.
Very good. Now we turn our face to an upcoming presidency. Minister Koritnik from Slovenia, who has the remit of well, smart cities and communities. I would imagine as with Minister of Public Administration, I was just with your predecessor in a pre-conference event now here with Slovenia, with Bosnia-Herzegovina, and discussing how that works in Southeastern Europe. Thank you for joining us here, even in these challenging times, to share your views with us and for the upcoming president. Over to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the word, and thank you to all joining us here today. If there are any doubts about the necessity of digital transformation of society, of course, the coronavirus has silenced them, and this digital mandate is not new. It has simply been brought into sharp focus. We've known for a while now that sustainable cities are the only solution for containing and reducing the alarming environmental, social, economic repercussions that urbanization will have for our planet. Those are also the European values. And with the widespread use of digital technologies, cities and communities can become smart. Smart cities and communities aim to develop a connected, intelligent system that will contribute to economic activities, improve citizen satisfaction with public services, contribute to public safety, sustainable environmental management, more efficient urban management, and other challenges. Cities and communities are becoming kind of a launch pads for the digital transformation of the entire society. In the efforts for this digital transformation, local environments are the most suitable for establishing partnerships between stakeholders, developing competencies, generating, using new data sources, investing in digital infrastructure, grasping all the digital opportunities offered by the transformation. And now the role of the state here is to provide a framework for faster development, to set standards, to set the main guidelines within which local authorities can, in the same way, address challenges. In Slovenia, we can hardly speak about smart cities, as was well mentioned earlier. As one of the most dispersed and sparsely populated country in the European Union, with mainly rural environment, we can only talk about communities. But we want those to be smart just as well. So connectivity is crucial in that respect. Municipalities in Slovenia have been including digitalization into their operations and the infrastructure management, optimization, communication with citizens for some time now, and testing, introduction of smart city concepts and introduction of individual solutions began in major cities. Until now in Slovenia, most investments regarding smart communities were silos oriented in basic areas like infrastructure management, energy efficiency of buildings. But the pandemic showed us that we need to do more. Several municipalities are severely malnourished in the field of digitization. And although we have specific services and tools, those are not interoperable and therefore do not achieve the right development effects. Strategic management of digital transformation and further development of cities and communities must be based on long-term development strategies and development partnerships, which must enable cooperation between local communities economic sectors, research institutions, value chains, all at the local level, and in connecting geographically or interest-related municipalities. It is necessary to ensure a systematic connection or systemic connection with the efforts at the state level. We want Slovenian municipalities to unify solutions in terms of data opening and interoperability. And of course, as already mentioned, we are currently actively preparing for the Slovenian presidency of the Council of the European Union in the second half of 2021. Among our priorities is, of course, digitalization, with special emphasis on artificial intelligence. Topics like introduction of advanced technologies in the society and the transition to a gigabit society will also be extremely important for our presidency. Issues are like cybersecurity, bridging digital divide, advanced networks. During our presidency, we will do what we can for the European Union to become a leading society that makes better decisions with the help of data, both in the economical and public sector. And this will also ensure faster and more extensive development of smart cities and communities. In the time of our presidency, we plan to organize 3 conferences, a conference on AI, a high-level conference on e-government, and a conference on cybersecurity. We, of course, hope that the epidemiological situation will soon improve and we will be able to meet in Slovenia. So this is in short. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. And of course, the scope, the spotlight is on the national level right now in the pandemic. But I think that what we also heard from the Commission, that turning this into an opportunity, because we learn very fast in these days, right? How to organize, how to infrastructure, how to come together. So it's good to hear, and we look forward to joining in Slovenia, hopefully on the ground. Thank you very much. So now we go really to the ground, Aleksi. Vice Mayor in the second city in Finland, Tampere, also co-founder of the OASC network. So please, from your side, can you give some thoughts on the current situation, what you're doing? Do you hear me, Aleksi? Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, as mentioned, my name is Aleksi Jäntti, and I'm the Vice Mayor of the city of Tampere, and I'm responsible for urban development here. And it's, of course, a great pleasure for me to participate this event, especially as mentioned, when Tampere is a proud founding member of Open and Agile Smart Cities networks. The organizer as well of this event. I will have a couple of short comments on the theme of this meeting, rural versus city area. The first related actually to why we have been active in this organization, OASC. The other sheds some lights on the role of a city as a dynamo in creating the city-rural continuum. I will do this through 3 examples. But first, 2 remarks. I have sometimes wondered why smart always refers to technological and digital development. As a person responsible for urban development as a whole, I have found that equally important to top technology is that we base our city solutions on sustainable ground. Even more so as the climate emergency is imminent and technological solutions alone are not enough. Another point is just an observation in this city versus rural theme. my country, Finland, is the least populated of all European nations, but Iceland. So only some 16 people per square meter are in Finland. While Finland, in space, my city Tampere is the second largest urban area in Finland, with slightly less than 400,000 people, which makes us a key node in southern Finland in a row of issues related to the city-rural continuum. Alone in the city of Tampere, we have hundreds of rural square meters with a house only here and there. So the theme is this event in very appropriate for us. Actually, we have now and then a discussion if Tampere is the city at all, or is it the biggest village in the world? I'd like to use some words to discuss why we as a medium or small city have been a keen member of OASC from the very beginning. We simply need networks more than the Londons or New Yorks of the world. We need partners, we need service and technology providers, and we need solutions that have been already tested somewhere else. We cannot afford to develop everything from scratch. The smaller the cities, towns, and villages are, the more they need ready tested solutions. OASC can be an ideal first platform for that, very much in the spirit of this meeting. To conclude, I would like to share with you, as I mentioned, 3 different examples that reflect the continuum between the city and its surrounding rural areas. The first is our carbon neutrality roadmap that actually proves my point of what is smart in cities. Many of the actions we do and need are driven by novel digital possibilities. While they may sound trivial, like transport or energy, the role of digitalization is crucial in these solutions for customer convenience, for maintenance, for operations, for access, and so on. Most of these actions will have impact beyond the city itself to the more rural neighboring towns like Nokia, which is a small town next to Tampere, where the telecom firm was founded and got its name from. I've marked with, actually, I don't have the slides, so those red X's doesn't mean anything to you. However, my second example is public transportation. While the city of Tampere used to be responsible for public transportation within the city boundaries, we are now responsible for the whole Tampere region. This has many benefits, not only for the city itself, but especially for the more rural areas. In addition to comprehensive service, digital tools developed serve now a large community. Novel ticketing solutions benefits almost 500,000 people instead of just the ones living in Tampere. And finally, we have been able to twist the arm of national rail system to increase local trail solutions and using a single local traffic ticket. As a third one, I'd like to mention mobility as a service as another example. MaaS is a much talked about but seldom tried concept. We have tried and failed and succeed. MaaS is an important element in making public transport more efficient and appealing to citizens. In the rural city continuum, it also provides an unique possibility. It could complement the often non-existing public transport in these areas if various social rights services, food deliverers and taxis could be connected to a network of rights. Here again, a larger city could help smaller towns and rural areas to create this kind of networks. We have done a mass pilot in 2 rural towns where a city-owned logistic company was the operator. It failed for a variety of reasons, shortage of people and a new kind of culture of moving around being the 2 foremost. However, our trials with autonomous small buses in 2 locations to do the last mile from bus stops has proven to be a useful tool to be used in the future, and those been successful as far. Some technological challenges naturally still exist relating to, for example, winter conditions, but we are managing to go over those. We are hoping to have a more concrete and production scale solutions in the mass space within a year or so. This could also be extended to more rural regions to provide the last few miles of service from regular bus roads. So, to wrap up, I hope I have given some ideas what can be a role of city in enhancing also the more rural areas in smart and sustainable development. We have a long-standing regional collaboration, which means that things don't happen overnight. It also is a two-way road. We as larger city contribute, but also learn a lot and of course get solutions from our neighbors. When trust is there between parties, very many things can be achieved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aleksi, and also just in short, thank you to Tampere for over the years for sharing. And sharing in a format where it's actually accessible to large and small communities in Europe and around the world. So now we turn to the current presidency and the region of Alentejo. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right, but Mrs. Carvalheira, you can do that for us. Please, the regional perspective and also perhaps some concrete things that you are doing.
Thank you. Dear panel colleagues, moderator, dear Martin, good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for the EC and all the organizers behind this event for having invited me to this important and very interesting moment. My name is Carmen Carvalheira. I'm the Alentejo Region Vice President. Alentejo is the largest Portuguese region and one of the largest in Europe. Alentejo is a leading European emerging region to which all of you expecting this pandemic crisis to be over are the most welcome. Today, I will spend a few words on the European Alentejo ambition as well as on the recently approved Age 2020 Auroral project, which the Alentejo region is leading. Alentejo is a low density and predominantly rural region, but with the top per capita indicators on research and innovation. In fact, we are investing a lot in research and innovation. Well, just for curiosity, the most recent European supercomputer is planned to Harvard University. But as I was saying, Alentejo is investing in design and apply innovative, smart solutions that may potential to improve lives and protect the environment. That's what leading Auroral is about. During the Portuguese presidency, we are following up Leipzig Declaration proposed during 2007 German presidency, and continued under the German 2020. We do very strongly believe that even in metropolitan areas play a role in the sustainability of our planet. Cities alone, if leaving behind rural world, they cannot meet the challenge of the future. This is why, following the deadline of continuity, also in 2007, Alentejo organized the follow-up of Leipzig Declaration, then under the European meeting point organized. And that's why during this Portuguese presidency, we are doing the same. Again, adding value, also the initiative for the recent Finnish presidencies and that others that followed. Open innovation for sustainability is a key word for Alentejo, and it is for us Europeans at large topics such as sustainable mobility, affordable housing, industrial settlements in times of structural changes, infrastructure measures, open space protection and development, as well the provision of renewable energies can only be successful tackled in cooperation and dialogue between urban areas and rural regions. Jamone said, people only accept change when they are faced with necessity, and only recognize necessity when a crisis is upon them. It was then true, it is even more perhaps now. We are facing a challenging moment, also because our current way of living is not sustainable. President von der Leyen, during her address in State of the Union, underlined it very well by pressing the need for an European renovation wave, to shape the world we want to live in. Quoting, a world served by an economy that cuts emissions, boosts competitiveness, reduces energy poverty, creates rewarding jobs, and improves quality of life. A world where we use digital technologies to build a healthier, greener society. This can only be achieved if we succeeded in applying innovation for sustainability. Therefore, developing a common, fair, and equal aftermath from the current digital revolution, with a strong focus on reinforcing Europeans' capacities in high-performance computing, in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and advanced digital skills, we see that aftermath as great opportunity across the economy and the society, both in urban and rural areas. This will help us in making systemic modernization across our economy, society, and industry. This is needed. We are here to work with all of you to achieve this together. With the recently approved H2020 Aurora project, led by the Portuguese region of Alentejo, we strive for enable communities to succeed in innovation and smart transformation that will bring them long-lasting social, environmental, and economic benefits. Aurora focuses on delivering a common digital framework and environment to integrate existing capabilities and turning it in new smart products and service for all regions, rural and urban. Always rural and urban. Emerging and consolidated more or less economically less. Bringing the best for digital revolution aftermath to all Europeans and to all Europe. The Aurora partnerships includes 25 entities from 11 European countries demonstrating solutions and pilots in Portugal, Norway, Italy, Austria, Finland, and Spain, among others. Alentejo, in fact, is the perfect case for a pilot region. Wonderful nature to be protected, advanced agriculture, intensive industry, strong digital capabilities, intelligent mobility, and the last but not the least, the most beautiful and one of the best protected coastlines in Europe. Alentejo has all it takes to be a lighthouse smart community. Indeed, glad of offering itself to lead the pilot smart communities under Aurora. Aurora encourages developers, researchers, companies, authorities, and end users in adopting, contributing, scaling, and replicating to smart community solutions under a co-design approach to promote their market uptake in rural and urban areas across Europe. We agree and support President von der Leyen when she said, "This is why we will set up a new European Bauhaus." That's why we so much care about co-design at Aurora and in Alentejo. By increasing interoperability, which enables co-designing solutions and delivering a common platform, Aurora will enable communities to succeed in innovation and smart transformation that will bring them long-lasting social, environment, and economic benefits. Alentejo is an active partner in Europe to make this change happen, but above all, to get cooperation to happen. All of us Europeans, we are part of a generation to which several challenges combined: climate, environment, equality, health, fairness, efficiency, and finally the transversal challenge of achieving the aftermath of a digital revolution that must not leave no one behind. This is also, we recognize it, the spirit of European Commission and that chain of European presidencies that proposed beautiful initiatives such as livingin.eu. I encourage all of you to follow, connect, and share with Aurora the innovation Europe so much needs. Making the most of our wonderful research and innovation programs, now moving from Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, sorry. Let's make it happen together. That's why you are all welcome, not only to Alentejo, but also to the Smart Community Summit next May 2021, this year, organized by Aurora in Alentejo under the scope of the European Portuguese presidency. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. We hope we can be able to go. So now normally we have a center on, or focus on Europe here in the opening, and the closing we usually have had the more global view. Now as we move with the sun, we will have sessions from all over the world. So in a way that is changing a little bit. But Tadashi-san, we have the view from, well, Paris, but also OECD. Please share your thoughts with us on this occasion, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Martin. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me well? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, I'm very happy to be here to join all of you at the City by City Forum for the first time this year. We have OECD Smart Cities and Inclusive Growth Program, and we are very happy to explore some collaboration with you. On this particular opening remarks today, I really like to focus on three messages. First, digital transformation must benefit everyone. Second, a territorial approach is a key to achieve this. And then the third, countries, regions, and cities must work together. I'm going to show a few slides out of my full slide deck, which will be available at the end of after the meeting. So let's start with my first message. So while digital transformation presents tremendous opportunities, whether it's remote working, teleconsultation, or online education, there's no guarantee that the rapid diffusion of new technologies will automatically benefit residents across the board. So let me share one of the slides that I have. Can you see the slide now? Yes, I hope so. So the point I like to make is that in 2018, for the OECD and selected non-OECD countries, in terms of a share of job amenable to remote working. So cities have a 13, on average, 13 percentage point higher share than rural areas. So this urban-rural gap, as you see in the country list here, is particularly significant in Finland, for example, Hungary, and then Luxembourg. The next slide is showing that the access to the high-speed broadband. Here you can also see some urban-rural divide. For example, in Italy, while 90% of total households benefit from access to high-speed broadband, only 43% of rural households do so. So these evidence stresses that digital transformation policies, including the COVID-19 recovery strategies, must make sure that it can improve the well-being of all people. But what type of policies can bring us to more inclusive digital transformation? So this question takes us to my second messages, which is a territorial approach. Territorial approach has a clear messages. Two benefits I can show. The first point is that it can address asymmetric policy impacts of cities and regions, which create spatial inequality. Second point is that it can enhance local and regional place-based opportunities. An example that I can show is particularly today to address the issue of urban-rural divide is a functional urban area approach. So policy interventions that addresses administrative boundaries in silence can miss an important synergies that can create between urban and rural areas. Instead, functional approach, which gives a functional definition that recognizes the areas with strong rural and urban linkages, can help integrate policy effort. Another example I can show is a more granular spatial typology. I also like to excuse me, show another slide that I have. Let me see this one. Yes, I hope you can see this. So this graph is actually showing that our research shows that rural areas close to cities have successfully narrowed the gap in their productivity, labor productivity level compared to urban regions. Also within the same rural areas, as you see, the other type of rural areas, which are more remote rural areas, do not get this result. So talking about this difference, stressing the importance of differentiated policy responses, even within the rural regions, can make difference. So it's very important for us to better understand the differences across regions. What is the performance of economy in this case, but also social and environment, and then try to address by that. In urban areas, for example, another example that we have worked with the European Commission is a report called "The Cities in the World," and this report is showing, proposing a new spatial typology called towns and semi-dense areas, which is a bit technical name, but actually this area is a new definition between urban areas and then rural areas. So by defining this, we are also proposing targeted policy interventions in this particular area, so that it's not an urban and rural dichotomy but it's like a continuum, and then policies need to address differently within this continuum, as Tampere Vice Mayor also mentioned. Finally, my last message is a whole of government approach. In OECD countries, as you may know, subnational governments account for about 60% of public investment, which highlights, of course, the considerable impact of subnational action in many policy areas. However, effective subnational action cannot be conceived in isolation with national policies, and the two-way interactions are key to accelerate different policy objectives, including, of course, digital transformation. So that's why the OECD has been working, particularly supporting national government for better national urban policies, which can coordinate not only across ministries, but across the levels of government to address key urban challenges. And another area of action that we are promoting is a measurement. And of course, a measurement is useful for subnational government, but national government will need to take a strong leadership. So last year we have developed a localized SDG indicator tool, and we are currently developing similar monitoring tools for climate action and smart cities. So to conclude, let me reiterate my three messages. Digital transformation must benefit everyone. A territorial approach is key to achieve this, and countries, regions, and cities must work together. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And that leaves, I think, just a very short comment around the table from each one of you. Perhaps you can reflect both from European Commission, from national level in Slovenia, from the municipal level, from the regional level. How do we build these developments into the recovery? So, Khalil, there is the recovery facility, right? How can the cities build that in? Is there something they can do to get, you know, the minimal interoperability and the investments instruments that are available?
Indeed. Thank you, Martin. I think first thing for cities today in the EU is to follow closely with their ministries that are responsible for the recovery, to make sure that ultimately budgets are allocated to all cities, and with I like what our OECD colleague has told us about targeted policies per cities in order not to leave anyone behind. I think the objective of the EU is a comprehensive digital transformation with benefits to everyone. So I think first thing, yes, please don't miss this opportunity. Second is let's keep our interaction going to ensure the interoperability between the different parts of the implementation, interoperability between data. This is the work we do on common data spaces. The learning from each other experience through the testing and experimentation. And this is what the EU programs will bring in addition to the recovery fund. I think this complementarity between the two is essential. Get the budget at national, at regional, at local level, and get the, let's work together to ensure interoperability and the collective development of this digital transformation of cities and smart communities.
Okay, thanks. Well, then we can ask the minister directly, maybe some reflections on how you integrate. Is it easy to do in this recovery?
It's not easy, but it has to be done. What we have done during the first wave was to, for instance, enable municipalities to adopt via online conferences, council meetings, economic acts. So this is what we have done in the first wave. And during this second wave, we are acting primarily on enabling adequate internet connection which is the foundation for successful digital transformation. So we will co-finance the coverage of white spots from public funds, and in this financial perspective as well as in the next one, and also from the funds of the European Recovery Fund. The other project we're working on, actually yesterday late at night, is a project with which we will help municipalities on their path of digitalization. We plan to ensure 16 million euro of European funds, also cohesion funds, and the beneficiaries will be consortiums of municipalities. Eligible costs include the costs of consulting, purchase of equipment, communication sensors, and so on, purchase of software licenses, support research testing, and of course demonstration activities. By European common instruments like Intelligent Cities Challenge, we help cities to adopt long-term strategies, and by preparing instruments, we would like to connect silos by using common EU infrastructure like FiWare platform, building blocks, and open and agile smart cities data models. We also believe that it is necessary to carry out activities that will change society's attitude towards information technology and the internet, and stimulate trainings for digital competences and skills of citizens. Although Slovenia is mainly rural and it is difficult to reach all citizens, it's our goal to leave no one behind, so no one excluded. We are also finalizing the preparation of a project for raising the use of the internet for greater involvement in the field of the information society. With it, we will co-finance the implementation of training programs for people over 55 years of age for the acquisition of knowledge and the development of competences in the field of digital technology. The aim of the call is, of course, to raise digital skills and digital competences. We believe that with all the measures just listed, we will all be more connected, smarter in the future, so cities, communities, and also people. And of course, we're really grateful for the European Union and its help and helping hand in achieving those goals. Thank you.
Sounds excellent, and sounds like a really how these instruments are coming together and the different levels that we heard described. So Aleksi, do you have the ear of your government in the recovery planning? Sorry for the direct question, but you are finished.
Yeah. I think that we are ready. We just we have to do it. We have a huge potential. Last spring, almost whole Finland switched to remote work. Not everybody has seen during this event as well, but even our comprehensive school remote worked last spring, and I've been worked remotely 10 months now, and it's possible. Of course, we have to have a vision, and we need to collaborate in every level, and of course in rural areas and cities, those together, cities with governments, and of course governments on European level. And it requires quite a lot from leaders, but my strong opinion is that we must not lose this opportunity to achieve a next level of digitalization and using of new technologies.
Fantastic. And incidentally, the next session, which we are taking a little bit of time into now, and we have to close, of course, is about what's happening on the Finnish ground. And it's also linked to, in fact, Intelligent Cities Challenge, which we heard the minister mention. So super short comment from Alentejo on the recovery, if that can be a way to achieve what you're also doing with the projects. Short comment.
Yes, we have a strong plan for the recovery, and the regional government is working together with the national government. to identify all the needs, especially for rural regions. And we think we are doing very well, and we hope to get the objectives to a better place after this pandemic situation.
Thank you very much. And Tadashi, in a way, you got the closing comment before. So I would like to close the panel now and declare the City by City 2021 for open. And thank you to the panelists for joining. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules.